have a number of notes here that I've taken on, well, everything that you've been doing, right? But to kick off the diet that's ongoing with the University of Iowa, now I see why the Iowa affiliation from your backstory. Tell us a little bit about this study, because it's really interesting in that you're looking at a few different types of diet. And
Sure.
I really love the fact that you're not just trying to, let's say, pit one dietary extreme against another. And you see this in research sometimes. You have someone who's kind of a vegetarian researcher, and you look at the design and you say to yourself, well, this study almost is for certain to set up the vegetarian diet to look better. When I look at your setup, it looks like a true and honest interrogation of a few different diets to discover whatever you're finding.
So we have 3 diets. We have the modified paleo diet, which people will know is basically the Wahls elimination diet. We have a time-restricted olive oil ketogenic diet, and we have the person's usual diet. We'll follow, the time-restricted olive oil ketogenic diet is more heart-friendly than most ketogenic diets because we stress olive oil as opposed to butter, ghee, eggs, saturated fats that are found in dairy. And then we time restrict. We have people have a 6 to 8 hour eating window. That makes it easier to be in ketosis with a slightly lower fat intake of 70 to 80% fat.
Right.
The usual diet is whatever you're eating presently. People come to Iowa at month 0, month 3, and month 24. We'll get measures of walking, hand, vision, working memory, and we'll measure quality of life, mood, anxiety, depression scores, and fatigue scores. And we are measuring brain volume at baseline using a research MRI, so no contrast. And we're repeating the MRI at the end of the study at 24 months. And one of the questions we're asking is, can I get, because people with MS, it's a little disturbing because I have MS, on average, our brains are shrinking by 1% or more each year, which is why people with MS have higher rates of frailty, higher rates of cognitive decline and dementia than the general public. My hypothesis, based on my experience and what I see in my clinic, is that as we fix people's diets, the brain volume and their cognitive performance remarkably improves.
Right.
So we're going to test, by teaching people how to fix their diet, can we get them back to healthy rates of aging, of brain aging? And we think the answer to that question is yes. We don't know, but we'll find out.
Right. Now, this phenomenal design, and I'm super curious to see what the results are. So a few follow-up questions I have been looking at this and listening to you. The elimination diet for the paleo elimination, is that eliminating standard paleo foods, or is there some sort of personalization people go through?
So people will come in, we'll get them on the paleo diet, get them comfortable with that for the first 3 months. Then in the second 3 months, we take out all grains, all legumes, all nightshades, so eggplants, peppers, tomatoes, potatoes, and then then after that, when they come back, we'll let them reintroduce the nightshades one group at a time, so we can identify, do they have intolerances or not. And we find that some folks are able to bring everything back in. We'll also let them try to reintroduce eggs, first with the egg yolks and then the egg whites, because if you tolerate eggs, they are a really superfood. But if you're like me and you don't tolerate eggs, they will kick up your immune system and you'll be quite miserable.
Sure. Well, I also really like the progressive nature of the elimination. I think what happens all too often is people go on a elimination diet and then they assume, well, I feel better, therefore eliminate all these things in perpetuity. So I like how you start with kind of this soft paleo, and people are likely going to improve, and then you do further elimination to see if there's further improvement so people don't conflate that, hey, I went right to AIP, and therefore I have to avoid everything on the
Forever.
autoimmune food list.
Yeah, and I stress to people that my goal is to have the least restrictive diet long term.